Gluten, what the hell is it? Why do people have such an issue with bread? What did bread do to them? Now, gluten is a product found in wheat, barley, or rye. It is made up of two different proteins, gluten and gliadin. Now, if you have any kind of celiac disease or gluten sensitivity, then you're going to have an issue with breaking down these proteins. Now, interesting thing is every single person's body does have an issue with breaking down these proteins to some degree. If you think about it, coming back to that point, if you think about it, back in the ancient times when they made bread, it was a totally different product than what it is now. It took them 2 days to make the bread to get to that end product. Now it takes us 2 hours. This is because of mass production. We're trying to make things cheaper and we're just trying to pump out more bread, more protein, whatever it is that we're trying to make, just so that we can have mass consumption. Now it is 2 times, people in the world, 2 times more gluten sensitive in the last 15 years than what they used to be. Now, symptoms of having celiac disease or any kind of gluten sensitivity are things like headaches, brain fog, you might have stomach cramps, stomach pains, diarrhea, lack of energy. These are all kind of symptoms of having some kind of sensitivity or a reaction in your body to gluten. Now, why are we talking about it? What is gluten? I want you all to meet Jeff. He's going to help us explain what's actually going on in our body when we do consume gluten. This is Jeff. Okay, now let's say that Jeff eats a muffin. That's my muffin. Now when he eats it, it goes down into his stomach, down into his small intestines, up to his large intestine, and then he poops it out. So basically, where we're going to look at is this part here in the small intestine. Now, in your small intestine, if you think of it like a tube, you have this barrier on either side, and that's what protects food from going out into your bloodstream or things coming in. So it's kind of the gate, if you like, the gate to your blood so that your nutrients from your food can go in and out, but that deciphers what does go in and out. Now, when gluten comes in, looking at these two proteins, gluten and gliadin. Gliadin is the main one we're going to look at here. Gliadin takes with it a thing called zonulin. Now this is zonulin down here. This here is your small intestine. Now if you can see here, they have tight junctions which are acting as the gates. That's what stops things getting in and out like we talked about before. Now gliadin carries with it zonulin, which is like the key to the gate. So when that comes in, when you consume gluten, so when Jeff's eating the muffin, for example, it's coming in and it's got zonulin attached with it. So it's opening up the gate and it's allowing gluten to go through that barrier of our intestine and into the blood. This is where issues happen. This is where you get chronic inflammation. This is where you might have heard of leaky gut syndrome before. This is where you get diarrhea, inflammation, you get aches and pains. This is bad. This is terrible for the body. We want these gates to be our protector. So they are what actually should say that comes in and out. But gluten is always carrying that zonulin with it, which actually just allows the gluten to get into our body. Now, when you're looking for options of how to test if this is you, we would recommend going a week at least with no gluten and then introducing it slowly, starting with sourdough because it has gone through more of a fermented process, which we can talk more about in a future video. But we would slowly introduce by that and then seeing if you get any of those symptoms that I talked about earlier. If you do, don't have it. And if not, then maybe you're fine. But when you are on a gluten-free diet, try to be careful about going for gluten-free products because they're not always classified as healthy. You want to be looking for things like almond flour or rice flour even. They're better things and it's real food rather than having a flour and then it being gluten-free flour, for example, and they've just gone through more of a process to actually take the gluten out, so it's almost worse off for you. So just eat real food and just learn to listen to your body. Thanks for watching, guys.